India's story begins over 5,000 years ago in the fertile plains of the Indus River Valley. Here, one of the world's earliest urban civilizations emerged. Harappa and Mohenjo-daro, known for their advanced city planning, sewage systems, and trade networks. Homes were built from uniform bricks. Streets followed a precise grid, and public baths suggest a sophisticated civic life. These cities traded goods like beads, cotton, and copper across Mesopotamia and beyond. Around 1900 BCE, the Indus cities declined. Theories point to climate change, shifting rivers, or internal decline. Over time, new people and cultures entered the subcontinent, bringing with them languages, rituals, and evolving social orders. These ancient foundations shaped India's spiritual and cultural landscape for generations to come.
After the decline of the Indus cities, new waves of Indo-Aryan migrants entered the subcontinent from the northwest. These people brought with them Vedic traditions, sacred hymns, and a pastoral lifestyle. Their oral texts, the Vedas, form the spiritual foundation of Hinduism. The Rig Veda, one of the oldest known scriptures, speaks of gods like Agni, Indra, and Varuna, and reveals a world of rituals, cosmology, and philosophical questioning. Over time, small tribal groups settled into kingdoms known as the Mahajanapadas. These formed the early political landscape of Iron Age India. Social organizations solidified into a caste-like structure, with priests, warriors, merchants, and laborers. This Varna system shaped society for generations. In forest hermitages and royal courts, sages began asking deeper questions. What is the soul? What is reality? This gave rise to the Upanishads, texts that moved beyond ritual to explore consciousness, karma, and liberation. India's spiritual traditions were taking root, not through conquest, but through contemplation and debate. The seeds of Hinduism, Buddhism, and Jainism were being planted in a land awakening to philosophy. In the 4th century BCE, India witnessed the rise of its first great empire, the Maurya Empire, founded by Chandragupta Maurya. With guidance from his strategist Chanakya, Chandragupta built a powerful, centralized state stretching from Afghanistan to Bengal. His grandson, Ashoka the Great, expanded the empire even further. But after witnessing the horrors of war, Ashoka embraced Buddhism and ruled with compassion. Ashoka spread Buddhist values of non-violence, tolerance, and Dharma across Asia, carving edicts into stone pillars that still stand today. After the Mauryas declined, centuries later came another golden era, the Gupta Empire. Under rulers like Chandragupta I and Samudragupta, the Guptas ushered in a period of peace, prosperity, and artistic achievement. Sanskrit literature flourished. Scholars like Kalidasa composed timeless poetry and drama. Mathematics and astronomy advanced. The concept of zero, the decimal system, and early medical texts emerged from Indian minds. Temples grew more intricate, sculpture more refined. Science, art, and spirituality intertwined. This was classical India, a time when ideas, not armies, defined the strength of a civilization.
By the 12th century, waves of Muslim dynasties began shaping northern India. The Delhi Sultanate was the first major Islamic power, founded by Qutb-ud-Din Aibak. It marked the beginning of nearly 600 years of Islamic rule. These rulers brought new languages like Persian, new administrative systems, and new art forms, including intricate geometric patterns and domed architecture. One of their enduring legacies, the Qutub Minar, built in Delhi from red sandstone, towering into the sky. In the 16th century, a new power emerged from Central Asia, the Mughals, led by Babur. Under rulers like Akbar, Jahangir, and Shah Jahan, the Mughal Empire became one of the most powerful in the world. Akbar promoted religious tolerance and cultural exchange. Art, literature, and music flourished at his court. The Mughals gave India its most iconic monument, the Taj Mahal, built by Shah Jahan in memory of his wife Mumtaz. Though rooted in Islamic tradition, Mughal India was a fusion of Persian, Indian, and Central Asian culture. It was an era of opulence and innovation, where conquest gave way to artistic grandeur and architectural wonder.
In the early 1600s, European powers arrived in India through its coastal ports. First the Portuguese, then the Dutch, the French, and finally the British. The British East India Company, originally traders, slowly transformed into rulers, using alliances, wars, and betrayal to gain control over vast territories. By the mid-1800s, after the Revolt of 1857, the British Crown formally took over India, marking the beginning of the British Raj. Railways, postal systems, and modern institutions were introduced, but primarily to benefit colonial administration and trade. Traditional industries were dismantled, and millions suffered under famines, high taxes, and racial segregation. Yet, amid oppression, resistance grew. Reformers, poets, lawyers, and spiritual leaders began calling for independence. Movements like the Indian National Congress, the Swadeshi movement, and voices like Bal Gangadhar Tilak, Rabindranath Tagore, and Sri Aurobindo stirred national consciousness. India was awakening, not just politically but culturally and intellectually. The struggle for freedom had begun, one that would reshape not only India, but the colonial world.
In the early 20th century, the movement for Indian independence reached a turning point. One man, dressed in simplicity, became its moral force, Mahatma Gandhi. He led millions with a powerful message: nonviolence, truth, and civil disobedience. Movements like the Salt March, the Quit India movement, and acts of peaceful resistance shook the British Empire. Yet, alongside the struggle for independence, tensions simmered between religious communities. In 1947, after decades of protest, sacrifice, and dialogue, India won independence, but the cost was immense. The country was divided into two nations, India and Pakistan. The partition led to mass migrations, violence, and deep scars that still echo today. Despite the trauma, India moved forward. In 1950, it became a sovereign democratic republic guided by a visionary constitution. Since then, India has grown into the world's largest democracy, home to over 1 billion people, dozens of languages, and centuries of wisdom. From ancient Vedic chants to space exploration, India's story is one of survival, reinvention, and rising on its own terms. It is a journey still unfolding,